Now on CoastTV News.
River takes toll.
I need to survive. There's nothing really else.
As the search for missing people continues, Texas, we are hearing more on what some had to do in order to survive.
Tabling hotel tax, the narrow decision to halt a fee on lodging, and why it's not the final say on the issue.
Mayor addresses mayhem. Ocean City assesses some of the chaotic scenes that took place over the holiday weekend.
The summer sizzle is back today. Temperatures soaring into the mid-90s and triple-digit heat indices. Then a chance of strong to possibly severe storms this evening. I'll have impacts of both coming up next.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And we're making our way in our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 6 o'clock hour this morning.
Yeah, July 8th, 2025. Lisa, Bob and I left you out of the coordinating outfit conversation for today. I think that was intentional.
You think so? This is not the first time this has happened, so I'm starting to think this is premeditated. You guys think about this? We're going to leave Elisa out of this.
Yeah, it's part of. It's on the agenda every day, Bob. Things to leave Elisa out of.
Wow.
I put that list together too. No, I don't. But I think Matt's been thinking about this for about 5 days. Do I wear a blue shirt and a yellow tie? Sure, we'll do that. So we're looking at warm and muggy conditions out the door. It's a steam bath out there, upper 70s, 80 in Lewis, 80 Bethany Beach, 78 in Millsboro, 78 in Georgetown. And the dew point temperatures, when you see mid to upper 70s, that is just tropical, and it's about as humid as it gets. So it's pretty rough out there, already feeling like mid 80s in some places, and we're headed towards the triple digits today. Feels like temperature. So that's why we have a heat advisory away from the coast, Sussex County, places like Milton, Selbyville, Delmarva, Bridgeville, also Salisbury, back through Wango, Ocean Pines. You're under this heat advisory, as is the Eastern Shore too, until this evening. So exercise caution out there, drink a lot of water, try to find air conditioning. Light winds, we're not going to see much wind today, and we're looking at mostly clear skies right now. Remnants of Chantal moving out to sea. And then to the west, we're watching this cold front, western New York through the Ohio Valley. This will be sagging to the southeast and could trigger some pretty feisty storms as we go through the evening hours. But as we go through the morning, maybe a few clouds, but even with the clouds, temperatures soaring through the 80s into the low 90s by noon, mid-afternoon, mid-90s, even at the beach, 95 in Lewis, and then 80s at the coast. Going to be a beautiful beach day, just really hot. And then this evening, keep an eye to the sky for that potential of severe weather. Could see heavy rain and damaging winds. I think we'll see a lot of the heavier storms building in after about 7 o'clock and then continuing maybe till about 10 or 11. But here are the feels like temperatures ahead of the storms, maybe as hot as 104 or 105 inland areas. And the mowing forecast, I think overall not bad. We're going to be seeing the evening rain this evening, and then afternoon and evening storms Wednesday through Friday. So maybe it's best to cut the grass in the morning because it's cooler and a little drier as well. Much more on this steamy summer weather coming up a little bit later on.
Bob, and our top story this hour is the aftermath of the deadly floods in Texas. Search teams looking for dozens of people that are still missing. The teams waded through mud-laden riverbanks and flew over the flood-stricken landscape. Kerr County Police said the bulk of the dead were in the riverfront hill country town of Kerrville. So 68 were killed, including the 28 children. One man who survived had to hang on to a meter box until help arrived.
I need to survive. There's nothing really else I'm thinking about. After I got off the phone with 911 for the last time, it was like I kind of realized I have to save myself.
Yeah, just an incredible story there. People gathered for a candlelight vigil Monday night in downtown San Antonio to honor and remember the victims.
This just in: a scare in downtown Salisbury Monday afternoon ended safely after local fire crews and the Maryland State Fire Marshal's bomb squad investigated a suspicious item. Officials say around 12:13 p.m., firefighters tackling a brush fire near East Market Street spotted what they say looked like a PVC pipe bomb. After examination, crews determined that item was non-hazardous and posed no threat. Explosive detection canines also searched the area, and the scene was cleared by about 2:40 p.m. Officials say no one was hurt.
New overnight, we're getting responses from Ocean City officials after what they say were several events resulting in chaos over the weekend. According to a statement, social media pop-up gatherings brought large crowds of young adults and teenagers, leading to disruptive behavior. Throughout the weekend, Ocean City operated at full staffing with help from local agencies like the Worcester County Sheriff's Office and Maryland State Police, and say despite the challenges, crews helped keep one of the busiest weekends safe and clean.
We are now taking a live look at the White House. There, President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister to discuss bringing an end to the 21 months of fighting in Gaza. And as the two leaders discuss a possible agreement to end the conflict, administration officials are working to avoid a trade war with tariffs.
The White House now pushing back a deadline, but threatening higher tariffs if no deal is done. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the president plans to tackle these issues, domestic and abroad.
It's really nice to have you at the White House.
President Trump meeting late Monday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, looking to leverage the ceasefire between Israel and Iran into a permanent peace.
I hope it's over. Yeah, I think Iran wants to meet. I think they want to make peace.
And a window to end the 21 months of devastating fighting in Gaza. The president projecting optimism.
I don't think there's a holdup. I think things are going along very well.
Despite Hamas wanting a full end to the war in exchange for the remaining hostages, while Israel still seeks to eliminate Hamas. As negotiations continue, the White House also pressing world leaders for deals on trade, sending letters Monday to 14 countries setting new higher tariff rates, including 25% duties on major trading partners, South Korea and Japan, up to 40% for Laos and Myanmar. The president describing the letters as a more or less final offer.
Look, we're always subject to negotiate something that's fair.
Higher rates for trading partners across the world paused for 90 days were set to resume tomorrow, but the new rates are now set to take effect August 1st, though the president acknowledged that could change again.
I would say firm, but not 100% firm.
Stocks dipped Monday after the tariff news, the Treasury Secretary looking to reassure.
My mailbox was full last night with a lot of new offers, a lot of new proposals.
Promising more deals are coming. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In Millsboro last night, by the narrowest of margins, the town council voted 4-3 against an ordinance that would have added a hotel tax. Here is Millsboro Mayor Rob McKee explaining why it was under consideration.
We're not desperate for money at this point with the town, and it's an additional tax that people have to pay. So we do have some visitors coming into Millsboro staying in the hotels, but we also have family members of people that live here. So we're, in fact, taxing our own family.
And McKee says the town will consider adding a hotel tax again in the future.
Happening today, the Ocean View Town Council will consider two important ordinances at a public hearing. First, council will hold a second reading on a measure that would set guidelines and a permitting process for what they call First Amendment assemblies in town parks and town-owned property. Next, town leaders will hold a first reading of a proposed ordinance that would amend town code, possibly updating the town's water system rules, including fees and charges, and address private wells within town limits. This is all taking place at the town council meeting today at 3 o'clock.
Happening tonight, Seaford Town Council close to moving forward on a new policy dealing with delinquent electric bills. At the city council meeting, officials are expected to present an ordinance they say would change electric notification and service termination rules. This is a second reading of this ordinance, and city council meets at 7 o'clock tonight.
And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, rising concerns with rip currents, why the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company is sounding the alarm for Assateague Island.
Also improving coastal connection, we'll tell you how Ocean City plans to do that just in time for a series of musical festivals happening soon.
And Amazon Prime Day adjustment, how the company is changing the annual sale event. They say it's going to be bigger and better. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
6:11 on this Tuesday morning as we're gearing up for another sizzler out there today. Already looks hot on the Dover cam, Bay Health cam in Dover with the sun coming over the horizon, and already temperatures mid to upper 70s. Already 80 in Lewis, 78 in Millsboro, Delmarva 77, and nearly matching dew point temperatures, making it an absolute steam bath out there this morning. Already feeling like low to mid 80s and headed for the triple digits as we go into this afternoon. Mostly clear skies this morning as we're seeing some storms to the east, and then I'm watching this front to our north and west that'll be dropping south and east and could trigger showers and storms as we go into this evening. But if you're golfing today, I would pack another shirt or two. I know I'd be sweating through a couple of these. 95 today, hot and humid on the course. Feels like temperatures as hot as 105. So make sure you stay safe out there. Maybe take breaks between the holes, and also make sure you bring plenty of water.
New overnight, the Delaware State Fire Marshal working to determine the cause of a garage fire in Frankfort. This fire occurred sometime after 7 p.m. and we have some images of the Millville Volunteer Fire Company on the scene at that time. This is on Omar Road. According to the fire company, units from Bethany Beach, Frankfort, Roxana, and Dagsboro were also working the response to the fire, where no injuries were reported.
New in Salisbury, officials say a road closure is coming to Columbia Drive starting Monday, July 14th. That area is between Northwood Drive and Milton Drive. Crews will be installing new sewer mains. Work is expected to take place from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and end on Friday, July 18th, weather permitting.
Indian River High School rising seniors have a chance to jumpstart their college plans this summer. The school says it will host a college application and financial aid boot camp. It's designed to help students and families get ahead on the college process. Topics will include how to start, timelines, key terms, choosing the best college fit, FAFSA updates, and more. It takes place August 12th at 6 p.m. in the school auditorium.
Amazon's popular Prime Day is here. This year, Prime Day is taking place from July 8th through the 11th. Amazon now is entering its second decade of hosting the annual summer sale event. And with the milestone, it's unveiling a change. Amazon will run Prime Day for 4 full days. That's twice the typical 48 hours.
McDonald's is rolling out a new item. This is big. It might prove the variety is the spice of life. Starting today, the fast food restaurant will unveil a new breakfast choice. The Spicy McMuffin Breakfast Sandwich features all the items in a traditional Egg McMuffin, but this one will have its signature spicy pepper sauce. McDonald's says the spicy items will only be on the menu for a limited time. Elisa, this could be the breakfast sandwich we've all been waiting for.
I don't know if I've been waiting for it. But still ahead, improving coastal connection. We'll tell you what Ocean City says it will do if additional cell towers don't arrive in time for upcoming music festivals.
I know a breakfast sandwich sounds pretty good right around now. We're looking at a little bit of breeze in Lewis right now. U.S. flag moving a little bit, some wispy clouds. It's going to be another sizzler out there today. Be careful. Highs in the mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices, and a chance of severe weather for this evening. I'll talk about the impacts of both coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 6:17, and you are looking live at the morning scene along the canal in Lewis. We see a little bit of a breeze there with the flag at lower center. Bob, well, I think we're going to need some big-time breeze today. You are tracking the hottest day of the week.
I think so, yeah, and not going to have a lot of breeze today. We're not going to have the wind to cool us off. It's going to be a hot wind today. Average high now is 88, and we're going to be topping out around 95 today. Not a record. And then we're back to close to normal Wednesday through the weekend, right around 86 to 88 degrees. But we're going to have a lot of humidity with that. And with that, a heat advisory, Sussex County, Bridgeville, Andrewsville, Laurel, Delmarva, all included in this, including Millsboro, not Dewey Beach to Fenwick Island, as you'll be looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. It's still going to be hot, but feeling like 105 inland areas. The same for Salisbury, back through Eden, Selbyville, and Ocean Pines too. Heat advisory till 8 o'clock in the eastern shore as well. It's just going to be a sizzler out there today, as you can see the feels like temperatures as high as 104 interior areas. And right now we're looking at mainly clear skies, nothing in the way of rain, just a steam bath out there right now. We are seeing showers and storms moving offshore, kind of the remnants of Chantal that moved through yesterday. And And then we're seeing some clear skies back to our west, and we're watching this front across the Ohio Valley into the northeast, and I think it will be getting some energy as it moves to the southeast this afternoon. It's going to be bumping into this hot, steamy air, and I think it will start to trigger some showers and storms as we go into this evening. And then it'll stall over us really the rest of the week and be the focus for showers and storms basically all week long. As we're warming up quickly this morning, here's Futurecast at 9:30, mid to upper 80s, some high clouds floating through. That's not going to prevent us from getting really hot. Lower 90s by noon. By mid-afternoon, 94 in Salisbury, Lewis 94, and 85 at Bethany Beach. A little bit of relief at the coast. And then this evening, I am watching for those showers and storms to move through. Heavy rain, maybe damaging winds with these as well. And you can see the really heavy rain maybe around Millsboro and Long Neck back through Salisbury around 10:30. And we are concerned about some torrential rain. So do watch for the potential of some flash flooding as we go into the evening hours. Then the storms will quiet down through the overnight. Then it's just warm and muggy into your Wednesday morning with temperatures in the 70s and 80s. Not as hot tomorrow. By 2 p.m. upper 80s close to 90. And I think we could see another round of showers and storms as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. In fact, a slight risk of seeing severe weather across the eastern shore, across a good chunk of Sussex County from Salisbury, Maryland, Seaford up to Dover, maybe damaging winds, and also looking at some heavy rain, maybe in excess of 2 inches of rain. Lower chances of severe weather to the south and east as we do have this stationary boundary stalled over us Wednesday through Friday, and that will be the focus again for those showers and storms, maybe some localized flash flooding. In fact, as we go through your future rain model the next few days, some places could pick up a lot of rain. For example, maybe Salisbury 4 inches, and other places close to 3 inches of rain. So you really want to be cognizant of that. Here's our muggy meter, very humid to miserable, basically the next several days. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 95 today with the afternoon and evening storms, and then mid to upper 80s Wednesday through the weekend, mainly afternoon and evening storms, and the main threat will be very heavy rain, so plan accordingly. And the weekend, not a washout, but those afternoon and evening storms continue, and that's also the case for Monday.
A 67-year-old inmate from Sussex Correctional Institution has died after being treated for chronic health conditions. That is according to the Delaware Department of Correction. The agency says Frederick Harris of Milford died July 7th at Beebe Hospital, where he'd recently been moved for inpatient care. According to officials, Harris had been serving an 18-month sentence for his 5th DUI.
Ocean City officials are continuing to seek ways to improve cell service, especially during music events that take place at the pier and southern end of the boardwalk. The option getting a good look at is adding small cell towers to busy areas. Town officials say they are working with phone companies like AT&T and Verizon on this project. Tourists on the boardwalk that we spoke with say the added towers would help make the vacation experience better.
I think it would just help a lot, especially with how many people come down here. I think a lot of people have problems, and so many people travel from very far away, and they want to contact their family to show them how nice it is down here. So to do that, they need cell service.
And we're learning that the town could bring in temporary technology for those music festivals if the new small towers are not set up in time.
Up next on CoastTV News Today, rising concern for rip currents. We'll tell you how officials say you can stay safe if you're caught in one. Don't go anywhere. The rough weather is stirring up concerns about rip currents, especially at Assateague Island, which still has no lifeguards. The Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company posted online that it had a distress call for a rip current this weekend, and it says there were some community rescues along the shores. The fire company says people need to be extra cautious because of the lack of lifeguards in the area, a situation that has some beachgoers worried with strong seas.
I think we should have lifeguards here. It's a big park and big beach and a lot of people.
And officials say swimmers should not fight a rip current if they get caught in one. They advise to swim parallel to the shoreline out of the current before swimming back to shore. And that is always good advice whenever you are going to the beach, but especially today. Bob said there's a moderate risk for rip currents.
Yeah, the recommendations you just have, just always a good reminder. I know a lot of it seems common sense, but just to keep reiterating it, especially if you're trying to cool off today at the beaches, Bob.
Yeah, and it's always good to swim at a guarded beach too, especially if the rip current risk is moderate to high. And it is moderate today. Remember to swim parallel to the coast if you're in a rip current or if you can't get back to shore. Chincoteague and Assateague today, it's in the mid-80s. It's going to be steamy with the humidity feeling like mid-90s even at the coast. UV index is very high. Fenwick Island lower 90s today, and then maybe a little cooler for Ocean City with mid to upper 80s. On the Bayside, 95 in Cambridge today. Watch for evening storms, somewhat damaging winds and very heavy rain. And still that storm threat Wednesday and Thursday, a little cooler and similar conditions for Crisfield. I think today is the hottest day of the next several, but then we have that ongoing storm threat as we go basically through the week into the weekend. I'll have much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, ceasefire looms over international leaders. We'll tell you what the future could hold for the fighting between Israel and Iran after a meeting at the White House.
Also, a wild weekend on the coast. How Ocean City town officials are responding after what they say large crowds caused some chaos.
And floods fuel activism. We'll show you the crews risking their safety continue to help others as the aftermath of damage from those Texas floods continue. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Hope amid rubble. After 100 people lost their lives in the Texas flood, the effort to find survivors continues.
Crowds cause chaos where Ocean City officials are laying the blame for what they are calling disruptive behavior over the weekend.
Revamping water rules. What is likely getting addressed in Ocean View when it comes to fees and private wells?
The summer sizzle is back today. Temperatures soaring into the mid-90s and triple-digit heat indices. Then a chance of strong to possibly severe storms this evening. I'll have impacts of both coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
July 8th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
It is 6:29 a.m. We are rolling into a hot and humid Tuesday. I don't know if we're rolling.
We're in it.
We're in
the humid weather.
In the soup.
And I think if you want to buy a sauna or go to the sauna, you don't need to. Just walk outside.
Free.
Yes, it's free. And Bob's going to tell us that humidity is just going to continue. We're going to have some more storms like we did yesterday, Bob.
Yeah, good morning, Lisa and Matt. And you know it's steamy outside when you see the windows sweating and there's just water all over the windows, the condensation. So yeah, it's that kind of a morning. It just hits you. The wall of steam out there as we're looking at upper 70s to start. And this is a little weird. It's usually warmer inland and cooler at the beach, but 80 in Ocean City up to Lewis. And actually a little cooler in Georgetown, 78, 77 in Millsboro, Gumboro, 78. And then you see the dew points that are almost matching the temperature. That's telling us that it's extremely humid out there. That tropical air mass is still in place after we saw the remnants of Chantal yesterday. And in some cases feeling like mid 80s. So we have a heat advisory away from the coast today, inland Sussex County, also Wycomico and into Somerset and Worcester counties, and then the eastern shore also under a heat advisory. So really take care out today. It's going to be a scorcher and not much wind. We're going to see a light southwesterly wind. We're looking at mostly clear skies, just some high wispy clouds out there this morning. Some bigger storms offshore, the remnants of Chantal moving away. We're going to see a nice day, and then a front back to our north and west will sag to the south and east with time and be the focus for showers and storms as we go into this evening. But in the meantime, temperatures quickly rising mid-morning, mid-80s on Futurecast. By noon, 90 in Seaford and Millsboro, and then mid-90s away from the coast. Even Lewis 95 around 4:30, maybe a little cooler from Dewey Beach to Fenwick Island, but it's going to be feeling really hot there. And then this evening, we are watching for showers and storms breaking out. Some of those could be strong to severe. Ahead of that storm potential, feeling like 100 to 105 across many inland areas. So really be careful out there. Have plenty of water with you today, and have that foily thing for your visor because you're going to need that to keep the heat out of your car. Warm and muggy this morning for your morning travel. I gave it the green light, then I gave it the red light this afternoon and evening. The car is going to be extremely hot. Be careful there. Once again, have that visor in the windshield, and then watch for that potential of severe weather as we go into this evening. More on that coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thank you, Bob. Our top story this half hour, the search for dozens of missing people in Central Texas continues after devastating flash floods. Governor Greg Abbott says more than 20 agencies are responding.
Yeah, the death toll is increasing. So are the stories of heroic rescues. Amy Kiley shows us some of the many people who helped save lives.
I've lost 2 friends. We loved them. And they're gone.
More than 100 people are dead after catastrophic floods in central Texas. But that number would be higher without heroic rescuers. One is a father who died saving his daughter.
Joel held on to him and prayed over his family and did his very best to hang on as long as he could.
The owner of this devastated RV park recalls banging on doors and helping residents through the water. She says her husband nearly died in the river.
My husband kept yelling at him, throw your baby at me. And at that point, a big wave came by and they both got swept away.
Some survivors from camps along the river praise their counselors for thinking quickly.
They moved the boys from their lower bunks to then the upper bunk, and then ultimately hoisted them up into the rafters.
Camp Mystic is where more than 24 children and counselors died. One Coast Guard swimmer says he gave up his spot in a helicopter to fit more children on board.
It's fresh like spring.
Now he's credited with helping save 165 children rescued from the camp.
I've never seen anything this tragic in my life.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We had a scare in downtown Salisbury Monday afternoon. It ended safely after local crews and the Maryland State Fire Marshal's bomb squad investigated a suspicious item. Officials say this was around 12:13 p.m. Firefighters tackling a brush fire near the 200 block of East Market Street, and they spotted what they say looked like a PVC pipe bomb. After examination, crews determined the item was non-hazardous and posed no threat. Explosive detection canines also searched the area, and the scene was cleared by 2:40 p.m. Officials say no one was hurt.
New this morning, we are getting responses from Ocean City officials after what they say were several events resulting in chaos over the holiday weekend. According to a statement, quote, social media pop-up gatherings brought large crowds of young adults and teenagers, leading to disruptive behavior. Throughout the weekend, Ocean City operated at full staffing with help from local agencies like the Worcester County Sheriff's Office and Maryland State Police, and say despite challenges, crews helped keep one of the busiest weekends safe and clean.
In Millsboro last night, by the narrowest of margins, the town council voted 4-3 against an ordinance that would have added a hotel tax. Millsboro Mayor Rob McKee says the town will consider adding a hotel tax again in the future.
Happening tonight, Seaford Town Council is close to moving forward on a new policy dealing with delinquent electric bills. At the City Council meeting, officials are expected to present an ordinance they say would change electric notification and service termination rules. This is the second reading of the ordinance. Council meets tonight at 7 o'clock.
And also today in Ocean View, the Town Council will bring up 2 ordinances at a public hearing. First, there is a second reading on a measure that would set guidelines and a permitting process for what they call First Amendment assemblies in town parks and on town-owned property. Also, there's a first reading of a proposed ordinance that would amend town code, possibly updating the town's water system rules, including fees and charges, and address private wells within town limits. This all takes place at the Town Council meeting at 3 p.m.
We are now taking a live look at the White House. It was there that President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met Monday evening. Conversations focused on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran into a permanent peace and a window to end the 21 months of devastating fighting in Gaza. Despite Hamas wanting a full end to the war in exchange for the remaining hostages, while Israel still seeks to eliminate Hamas. However, the president projecting optimism.
I hope it's over. Yeah, I think Iran wants to meet. I think they want to make peace. I don't think there's a holdup. I think things are going along very well.
President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister met over dinner Monday evening, and officials say negotiations will continue.
And we got a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Seaford Civilian Academy will tell you what to expect from a hands-on experience with officers.
Also, Maryland-Delaware matchup, the interstate battle, and high school summer league soccer.
And returning Rogue Kayak, we have details on where officials say it was found in hopes of getting it back to its owners. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
6:39 on this already sunny and steamy Tuesday morning. Laurel 77, lots of sunshine. It's going to be a scorcher out there today already, mid to upper 70s, even 80 in Ocean City up to Lewis. And we're looking at very humid conditions. Dew point temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Anytime you see this, you know it is really steamy out there. And already we've got feels like temperatures in the mid 80s. We're looking at clear skies right now. We're mostly clear, some high clouds, and we're looking at a sunny day on the way. There is a front to our north and west. That'll sag to the south, and that will increase our storm threat as we go into this evening. But not today. It's just going to be sunny and hot on the boardwalk. And make sure you're not barefoot. That's going to be pretty hot underfoot. Looking at 80s to lower 90s by this afternoon, but feeling like mid 90s even at the coast later on. In case you missed it earlier, our umbrella winner is Steve Stakorowski from Milton, Delaware. Congratulations to Steve on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
New this morning, the beginning of the school year will be here before you know it, and Woodbridge High School is offering free sports physicals. The evaluations are taking place at the Bay Health Woodbridge High School Wellness Center. Only students enrolled at Woodbridge Middle and High School can make an appointment, and the physical are being offered on Tuesday, July 22nd.
In Salisbury, parts of Glen Avenue closing this month as the Department of Waterworks makes improvements to the lift station. According to officials, construction began yesterday, and the city says it's going to last all the way until Friday, July 18th. The road is open to local traffic only during this time.
Is this anyone's kayak? Denmark police say they found it floating in the Indian River Bay about a quarter of a mile south of Massey's Landing. You can see it right here on your screen. If it's yours or you know whose it is, you can contact Denmark police.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
In the summertime, the season is typically dominated by baseball, and even here on DSN, we add a lot of basketball to that calendar, but we got some variety last night. Over in Fruitland, we had boys soccer at Crown Sports Center. The Parkside Rams in green taking on the Laurel Bulldogs in red for this one. The Rams already up 1-0 when Will Duncan dribbles around his defender and then chips over the Laurel keeper for Parkside's second goal of the night. It's 2-0. Later on, it's now 2-1. When Smith gives it up and gets it back, he cuts right and slots the ball into the back of the net with that right-footed rocket. Parkside in front, 3-1. On to the second half. Parkside up 4-1 and Smith adds on. How about this beauty? Great touch makes it a 5-1 game. Then Logan McIntyre gets in on the action, showing off a flurry of moves before blasting this one home. Parkside in full control. Byron Watson put the finishing touches on this game for the Rams. Parkside wins it 7-1 over Laurel. And make sure to download the DSN app and subscribe to DSN Plus so you don't miss any of our summer sports coverage. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
Coming up today on DSN at 4:30, we have live boys basketball with the Queen Anne's County High School League. 10:30, it's the final score. On the DSN Plus app, along with the boys basketball game we just mentioned, here's what you can catch on the app. It's all at 6. High school field hockey at DE Turf, and then high school boys basketball at the Crown Sports Center.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Well, the Post Surface knows. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
If you're a SpongeBob SquarePants fan and movies, TV shows, and the occasional parade are not enough, the U.S. Post Office hears you. SpongeBob and the Bikini Bottom Gang appear on 4 new Forever stamps, which are to be officially unveiled August 1st in New York.
I was like, oh, word, okay.
Michael B. Jordan is teaming up with a Black Panther co-star for his reimagining of the Thomas Crown Affair. The Hollywood Reporter says Denai Gurira, also known for The Walking Dead, is joining the romantic heist thriller, which Jordan is also directing and producing. Oscar winner Kenneth Branagh and Oscar nominee Lily Gladstone are also on board.
The numbers all go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder?
Is it any louder? Well, it's one louder.
This Is Spinal Tap had fans rocking over the weekend. The mockumentary's 41st anniversary re-release grossed more than $1 million with limited showtimes, prompting distributors to add more play dates July 8th, 9th, and 10th. A sequel, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, is due out September 12th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can expect this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Hey Coast Life fans, coming up today at 4 o'clock, we have an incredible show for you. I'm going to have a guest co-host returning, Lily Aller. She's going to be talking about fashion, all sorts of different things. Plus, Kendall Gordon going to be out in the field at Benvenuto with all the good eats. And I have something a little special, something you might not be used to, an exclusive interview with a sea turtle. You're going to have to tune in to find out what I'm talking about.
Beautiful start to the day on the Irish Ice Cam. Some wispy clouds in Lewis, 79. Old Glory waving in the wind a little bit. Not going to see a lot of wind. We're going to see a lot of summer sizzle today. Highs in the mid-90s, triple-digit heat indices, plus a chance of strong to possibly severe storms this evening. I'll talk about the impacts of both coming up in my full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:47 and we are taking a live look at Laurel. Bob, yesterday we were not seeing sun. We had a quick rainstorm. We could be getting more today. Matt's not going to like that because the rain's going to make his grass grow. And he has to do lawn work. We know how he feels about lawn work.
He's got to cut the grass like the rest of us. Oh my.
Laugh it up, guys.
We're laughing, Matt. We're laughing. And in the rain department, of course, we had the remnants of Chantal yesterday that gave us some rain. So we're doing pretty good as far as the rain goes. And we have some numbers here. And for the month, we're a little bit over an inch right now. We've picked up over 2 inches for the month. And so we're looking at a surplus of about 1 600 inches. And then for the year, we picked up 23.84 inches. And that's above normal. So we're almost about 2.5 inches above normal, and we've got more rain to come. In fact, maybe heavy rain as we go into this evening and beyond. But ahead of that, it's the heat advisory for much of Sussex County, excluding the immediate coast. You're going to be in the mid-90s as opposed to 105 inland. So that's why you're not in a heat advisory. It's still going to be very hot and steamy at the coast. Salisbury through Eden, Selbyville, Ocean Pines, heat advisory through 8 p.m. Also back through Cambridge into Harmony and Easton. You too are under that heat advisory. So exercise caution. We've been down this road before. Make sure you have a lot of water and find air conditioning if you can, as we're going to be feeling like 102 to 105 away from the coast. And even at the beaches, it's going to be hot, mid to upper 90s. So really no escaping the heat today. So be careful out there as we're looking at mostly clear skies right now. We have thunderstorms offshore, the remnants of Chantal moving away, and then this front to our north and west. You can see it starting to sag to the southeast. As it gets closer, we have that increasing chance of showers and thunderstorms as we go into the evening hours and then beyond, as that front essentially will stall over the top of us and will be the focus for more showers and storms. Some high clouds this morning, otherwise temperatures quickly rising through the 80s by noon. On Futurecast, close to 90 in Millsboro, 80s to lower 90s at the beaches, and then we're well into the mid-90s by mid-afternoon and 80s and 90s at the coast. Then this evening, after about 7 o'clock, keep an eye to the sky for showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to possibly severe, and maybe some very heavy rain. We're still in this tropical-like air mass, so keep that in mind. Then those storms quit late this evening, and by tomorrow morning, it's warm and muggy again, and probably not as hot tomorrow, but upper 80s, close to 90, but still steamy, and still that chance of scattered afternoon and evening storms. Once again, the main threat will be heavy rain. Slight risk of severe weather, eastern shore, back through Salisbury, Seaford, Georgetown, Millsboro, Dover, maybe damaging winds and local flooding too. Watch for that. A lower chance of that as you get closer to the coast. And then we see that stalled out front Wednesday through Friday with on and off showers and storms. Once again, some localized flash flooding. You can see as we go through the next few days, some areas may be over 4 inches like Salisbury. This isn't etched in stone, but we could see at least 2 to 4 inches of rain the next few days. So really be careful out there, and very humid to miserable conditions as far as the humidity goes. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast. Looks a lot like summer, doesn't it? 95 today, and then the evening storms, strong to severe, and then mid to upper 80s Wednesday right through the weekend, mainly afternoon and evening storms, and the main threat once again is the heavy rain, and I think that threat continues into the weekend. It won't be a washout, but those storms will continue, I think, even into early next week. Monday's high of 87 and kind of wet into the afternoon.
Thank you, Bob. New this morning, the Seaford Police Department has announced its 2025 Civilian Police Academy open to adults 18 and older. Classes run Wednesday nights from August 27th through October 1st from 6 to 9 p.m. Participants will go on ride-alongs, take part in patrol scenarios, and even try out virtual training, all with no fitness requirement. Applications are due by August 4th.
Also, the Bridgeville Police Department is preparing to host its back-to-school bash. The department says the free event will include inflatables, a water slide, ice cream, and more. And it will give every student who attends a free backpack. This takes place August 7th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the police station.
The time is now 6:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And this hour, today's coastal pet is a dog who's not playing around. That's Dash, everybody, on your screen. That is a look. Dash must have seen something we didn't, or did something that we didn't see.
I don't know.
Because he is giving his owner some serious side-eye there. Dash and his side-eye were submitted to us by Brenda in Selbyville.
My dogs always look guilty when they do something, and we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where the QR code is. If you scan that, you can get your friends to us and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55, and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. The Ocean City mayor and town manager are responding after what they say were several events resulting in chaos over the weekend. According to the statement, social media pop-up gatherings brought large crowds of young adults and teenagers, leading to disruptive behavior. Throughout the weekend, Ocean City operated at full staffing with help from local agencies like Worcester County Sheriff's Office and Maryland State Police. Town leaders say despite the challenges, crews helped keep one of the busiest weekends safe and clean.
Happening today, Ocean View Town Council will consider 2 ordinances at a public hearing. The council's having a second reading on a measure that would set guidelines in a permitting process for what they call First Amendment assemblies in town parks and on town-owned property. Then there's also the first reading of a proposed ordinance that would amend town code, possibly updating the town's water system rules, including fees and charges, and address private wells within town limits. It's all taking place at the town council meeting at 3 p.m.
And it is 6:56, and we are going to take another look at your very muggy forecast.
Yeah, Bob, we already have that toasty feel outside.
Already.
Yeah, it's just that air you can wear. It's like wearing a wet sweater. Ugh, it's just so steamy out there, and the summer sizzle is back in a big way today, so make sure you have lots of water and can find a cool place as we're warming into the mid-90s and just a light wind, so we're not going to cool down with the wind. And with the feels like temperature, it's going to be as high as 105 inland areas, and even at the beach, is feeling like mid to upper 90s, so take care in the heat. Could see some evening storms with very heavy rain and maybe some damaging winds. Keep that in mind. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, pretty consistently warm and muggy and stormy into the afternoon and evenings, pretty much Wednesday through the weekend into next week. So definitely a persistent summer pattern. Temperatures pretty much average for this time of year. However, watch for very heavy rain with these storms into the afternoon and evening hours.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Tuesday morning, everybody.